Hey, wake up. Here we go. Dee, dee, dee. I got my silver trumpet, my silver temple. Oh, look at that. Where? Look, oh my good. Oh my goodness. Gather. Just learning how to play it. Check this baby out. I just got it. Ooh, baby. Temple trumpet. And so, are you ready for some spiritual manna and itchy nose? Hello and welcome to the Good Info Cafe, where multiple intelligences meet each day. I'm JK. Today as it is in heaven, on earth as it is in heaven. All right, so a lot to do today. Here's my gut guitar, my great Uncle Tony Jambroni gut guitar, Gibson 1938 L5, advanced model, natural finish, original white pickguard, gut guitar from my gut, the music from my gut. And so the temple trumpet, so excited about that. When I blow it, it's a matter of gathering to the Good Info Cafe. And I got a really nice tip from Robert Cool Bell from Cool and the Gang. So I used a portion of that tip to purchase the real silver temple trumpet. I did get a high one earlier. Nope, maybe later. So I'm just learning. I've never played trumpet and I'm just learning how to play it. So I play the trumpet at the beginning to gather everyone to the Good Info Cafe, and then the shofar at the end to signify that the session is ending. And then a drum pad. I had that other one, but I got a different one. And so I returned that one and got this one. And so it's probably going to be too loud, but here we get my chops back, which I don't have them back yet, but that's traditional grip and this is match grip. And I really like the new groove for the golden rule. It's about 68 beats per minute. The golden rule. The golden rule, and then the beginning. Harmonics on the guitar. So I got one. My friend brought this back from Saudi Arabia like 25 years ago, and I can't find it. So this is a replacement, but it's somewhere in my stuff. And after the move, who knows where, if I'll ever find it. along with the letter of recommendation from Henry Kissinger. I can't find that either. We'll see. All right, so it looks like it's going to be 1 or 2 per week. If it can be on a Sunday and a Wednesday, great. But if not, I think I'll be able to do at least 1. I'm starting to get the rhythm of this new job, and it's crazy hours. But last night, with a group, a lot of fun people, and Gary Clark, the Redskin wide receiver, not the musician Gary Clark Jr., but Gary Clark, the 2 Super Bowl winner, the golden age for the Redskins. Really nice guy, really good tipper, and the group he was with was a lot of fun. So that was late night. I don't usually do late. I mean, with this job, I'm now doing late nights, but that's not my style. Is more early morning. So I was wiped out today. So anyway, and then I just did a little shaving, and now sometimes when you shave the beard, it tickles. So that's what I'm at a regular. So thank you to all the visitors. Got a new somebody who had been visiting for a while to make a comment recently. So welcome. And then you regular commenters, couldn't do it without you. Thank you for coming to the Good Info Cafe to get your good info and get your spiritual manna. So it's music, fun, big serious concepts, and hope is what I believe I can always deliver. And if I can't deliver it, then that could be the end of the age of this. So lesson in, then I'm going to talk about belief, theories, knowing something, because the Jeffrey Epstein death, which, anyway, it's hard. The point is, it's really, that's what information literacy, it's very difficult to really know things. So what do we know? I know that I exist. I know that you exist. That's watching this, who's watching this, things like that. And then predictions. People say, you can't predict the future. And then, so here's my prediction. In the future, people are going to say you can't predict the future. And I'm going to be right. So you can predict the future. It's being accurate or not that's the issue. So I'm going to try make a prediction that I believe will be accurate. The sun will exist tomorrow. The sun will come out tomorrow. Bet your bottom dollar for tomorrow. Come what may, tomorrow, tomorrow. So that's my prediction. Then the hard ones is predicting very specific things. That's difficult. But the Bible, the Old Testament, New Testament, is the only prophetic book that's as accurate as it is. So, all right. So about belief theories, knowing, related to the Jeffrey Epstein death, or apparent death. And then the question of the day is, in terms of the theories of what happened to Jeffrey Epstein, I'd like people, commenters, to weigh in, and visitors who haven't commented, where they lean. Because, once again, it's very difficult to know something like that. But, and also I happen to know exactly where that correctional jail is and exactly where the hospital that he went to. I know exactly where it is. It's right near the start of the Brooklyn Bridge, the Manhattan part of the Brooklyn Bridge. It's right there. Anyway, so the theory of what happened to Jeffrey Epstein. So you could say, this is my theory A, I think this is what happened, but then if it's not that one, here's theory B, here's theory C, and I'm going to go over them. And then the grade for today is official story regurgitators. So after the Warren Commission gave their report about the JFK assassination, they saw that a lot of people weren't buying it, so they demonized conspiracy theorists. So that was in the 60s. They made it bad to be called a conspiracy theorist. And once again, that's just either one person did something or more than one, and they planned to do something nefarious, that's a conspiracy. Conspiracy theorist is not bad. It's someone who finds a conspiracy in everything, that's bad. And then the official story regurgitators who believe the official story every time, that's bad. Most people aren't like that, and they'll try to figure out, or they're working 2 jobs and 3 jobs, and they just have to go by what they hear, and they move on. Okay, I just heard that, and I just thought it sounded good, but now that I'm critically thinking about something, then yeah, maybe that didn't happen. So that's, I'm grading official story regurgitators to the demonized conspiracy theorists. They get an F for failing. You don't just always believe the official story, and then you can just, for short, could be called regurgitators. So start using that for people who just regurgitate what they hear, and to be as demonized as conspiracy theorists. And once again, conspiracy theory is a neutral term, but if you always find a conspiracy in just about everything, the more you do that, the more it is a bad thing, because you just look at the facts and see what they point to. Sounds like the guy in Dayton, Ohio, the loser murderer, the lost soul, that he did act alone. That's what it looks like. And then the one in Santa Fe didn't act alone, or there was a lot of more support behind that one. That's my theory. But to really know is another story. All right, so the music, so that's, and then the priority rating for official story regurgitators, that's in the top 30, I'd say, people who just believe the official story, being regurgitators in a bad way, that's in the top 30 of priorities, with the top priority being the survival of life. All right, so those are my notes. Oh yeah, one other thing about the to grade. I'm going to grade, what's the name of it? Gecker wrote a story for the AP, the Associated Press, a few days ago about Placido Domingo. That story gets an F because poor journalism, very unprofessional, and a lot of anonymous sources. And the only cited source, Patricia Wolf is her name, said, I think she's a soprano, said, nothing bad happened with Placido Domingo in terms of it didn't affect my career. As a matter of fact, they kept hiring me. So the only person to give her name just said that she didn't, he tried to date her and go out with her, and she wasn't interested. As far as I know, she didn't even say anything physical happened. Just that he harassed her. And then the others were anonymous. So the Philadelphia Orchestra and the San Francisco Opera get Fs. They get even 50%, even less than that, zeros. Because as soon as they saw this story, uncorroborated, no evidence story, they dropped Placido Domingo. So they get a low grade. And the LA Opera gets an A for saying, we'll look into it, but we've known him to be professional, and we've never heard anything at our opera company. And the Metropolitan, the Met in New York, said, we'll wait to see what the LA Opera comes up with. We haven't seen anything. So they're being very fair. And then all the European operas said, we're not going to base our decision on one story by this Gecker person in the AP. And then a lot of sopranos came forward and said he's a gentleman, haven't heard anything. Directors of opera companies said if something had happened, I would have heard about it. And that was a woman also. So that story, there's so many stories that shouldn't be written because they're not, there's not evidence, there's not enough to go forward with the story. And so it was unprofessional and poor journalism on the story about Placido Domingo. That's so I gave you that grade, and that's that. So I'm taking these notes down here. And then I was invited to the choir that I sing in, that I've sung in since high school and played drums and guitar on and off for years, that my dad sings in. Great people, great director. I've been invited every year, but I haven't been able to go to the choir summer getaway retreat. by one of the members. Got this beautiful place up on a lake, and so I'm practicing this song that I'm gonna surprise him with, because we did this song in a show with the choir that we would do a theater night with the choir members, and so I'm just practicing it. Oh Lord, it's hard to be humble when you're perfect in every way. I can't wait to look in the mirror, 'cause I get better looking each day. Tongue in cheek, and once again he's gonna sing this. I just play the guitar. To know me is to love me. I must be a hell of a man. Oh Lord, it's hard to be humble, but I'm doing the best that I can. Gotta work on the melody there. I used to have a girlfriend, but I guess she doesn't. Oh, okay. So anyway, that's going to be fun to do that and to surprise him with that song. And then, so just to, the song to represent that experience I had when I was napping during the day from a late night and was in and out, and I felt the presence of God and the light shine through the window and all that. So I did it with the name Shekinah. Then I did it with proskuneo. Now I'm doing it with Yishkeni, which means intimate God, the kiss of God, letting God kiss you, not a gender, just God. But it just had that feel, so. Daytime doze, eyes closed, and you're in my dreams. Light shines through the window and on you. I love you dearly, Yishkeni. I see you clearly, Yishkeni. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yishkeni. Whoa, 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 whoa. Darkness calls, heavy lids fall, and I see you. Morning breaks, I wake, and you're in my arms. Yishkeni, I love you dearly, Yishkeni. I see you clearly, Yishkeni. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yishkeni. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, I'm also a diabetic. I think I've maybe mentioned that. I have celiac and diabetes, and I'm a little bit hypoglycemic here. So a good time to do nutritious input, but this isn't really nutritious input. But there's a little story behind this. So here's Sweet Tarts. Yes, I'm a diabetic, but a nice person, associate, somebody I just recently met, brought these because I gave her a discounted ride during the George and John's, well, it's supposed to be the Gibson Island thing, but it didn't end up doing that. But that visit, so Kathy Shue gave me these, and I was like, okay, but I'm diabetic. I didn't say that to her, so I just put them away. And then I was driving, and I had my bag next to me, and I was getting a little bit, I needed energy. And I pulled out these Sweet Tarts. And so they saved me, Kathy. So now it's time for input that has some energy value to it. It's not really that nutritious, but I'm getting a little hypoglycemic, so I think I'm going to speed this up. And so here we go. Sweet Tarts. And here's to the Good Info Cafe. I hope you pause the video and get your nutritious input, and it's more nutritious than this. So, all right, so here we go. So this is what I don't think I showed this for the death penalty discussion, that wonderful discussion we had. So innocent is, there we go, innocent, I don't know if I'm showing it. Human life from conception, a natural miscarriage, absorption is nature God. That's God dealing with it. But when the guilty or death penalty for verified murderer is a reasonable response, consequence. It's reasonable. If I were creator, proprietor, master chef, king of the GIC, I don't even know if I'm showing it, king of the GIC, this would be an option on the table. But don't always have to do that if there's some doubt. Anyway, and then when it comes to the Jeffrey Epstein thing, it could have been where they did switch him out. That one I think is my theory C. Theory B, no, I think that he actually committed suicide is theory C. Theory B, see, I'm a little hyper. I'm now stepping over my words. But this is giving me energy. B would be that he was switched out, and A is that he was murdered. And I heavily lean towards that he was murdered. But those are theories. It's really hard to know. However, how about this? We do know that very powerful, influential people wanted him silenced, wanted him dead. Would anyone disagree with that one? I mean, a reasonable, people can disagree and be goofy, but not many would disagree with that. That's like a 99%. All right. So because of these, I don't even know if I'm showing, because of the barriers to becoming information literate, it's very difficult to get reliable information. And that article about Placido Domingo didn't meet most of these. And there's lots of ifs when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein. But it's a very reasonable conclusion to say that he was murdered. But we know for sure that a lot of powerful people wanted him silenced, dead. He was in a cell with a guy who had already murdered 4 people and buried them in his backyard. And then the reports are, what we read, what we hear, that Jeffrey Epstein said that the guy tried to kill him, etc., etc. I don't think I'm going to be able to blow with this in my mouth. So, I think that's it so far. I think that's it so far. I think that's it. Goodbye. I think that's it. Goodbye. We are in the end of an age. Are we in the end times? Are we in the last days?